Welcome to the first video for Algebra 2A. If you can make that correction on your note sheet, this should be an A here. And we are going to start our instruction with some data lessons. The first data lesson is going to be about measures of central tendency. This is kind of a review because you probably recognize a lot of the terms here. The word range, mean, median, and mode. These will be terms that you will see on the SAT, and you probably have seen these terms in previous lessons in other math classes. But it's been a while, so let's go ahead and review. The range of a data set is the difference between the greatest value and the least value. So really you're just going to subtract the largest and the smallest number to find out the distance between them. So difference, remember, means subtract. The mean of a data set is really just the average. So if you take a look down here, this is just also called the average of a set of numbers. So basically you're going to add them all up, add up all the numbers, and divide by the number of data values. We're going to practice that in just a moment. The median of a data set is the middle number. So if you put all the numbers in a data set in order numerically from least to greatest, it's the very middle number that we mean when we're talking about the median. The mode of a data set is the one that occurs most often. So now that we've reviewed a little bit, we're going to go through some examples to find the mean, find the median, and find the mode. And of course there will be some special situations that you're going to want to pay careful attention to, and we're going to get into that first example right now. So for example number 1, I'd like you to find the mean of the data set over to the right. So if you take a look at this data set, there are 5 values. For step 1, we're going to add all of the values up. So if you use your calculator, add 19, 13, 15, 25, and 18. The sum of these numbers is 90. So when I added them up on my calculator, I got 90. Step 2 is to divide that number by the number of values in the set. Well, if I count these up, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values. So I'm going to divide by the number of values. And if I do this calculation, I'm going to get 18. So the mean, or the average, of this particular data set is 18. And for example number 2, we're asked to find the median. Remember, the median is really a midpoint. So it's only when you have all the numbers in order from least to greatest that you can find that midpoint. So the first step is to take the numbers in the set and put them in order. So I'm going to put them in order right now. And if you notice, we have an odd number of data points here. So an odd number of data in the set means that we do have an exact middle number, don't we? So 20 is our exactly middle number. But if you take a look at example B, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers in this data set, which means we have an even number of data, of values, sorry. So in this case, let's take a look at step 3 in our instructions. It says if there's an even number of values, we need to take the average of the 2 middle values. So we still need to put the numbers in order from least to greatest in order to find the 2 middle numbers. Once your numbers are in numeric order from least to greatest, I see here that we have these 2 middle numbers, and we need to take the average or find the mean of 67 and 75. So if I add them together, 67 plus 75 is 142, and there are 2 numbers here, right? So I'm going to divide by 2 to find the average. And the median of this data set actually is 71. Even though it doesn't appear in the set itself, that's what we would call the median because we have an even number of numbers in this particular data set. So again, this is a little bit special in terms of, finding the median is always not straightforward. It's straightforward if there's an odd number of values, but if there's an even number of values, we want to find the average of the middle 2. And we are on the back side of the paper. I just want to remind you that if you have any questions on any of the things in this video, you should make sure that you write some notes off to the side. If I've said something in the video that doesn't quite make sense to you, please make sure you ask once you get to class. We are going to have some practice problems in class as well as some practice problems at the bottom of the sheet. So we are on the back side. We're going to look at example number 3, where we are finding the mode. Remember that the mode is the number that occurs most often. So in a data set, you might have no mode at all if every single number in the set is different. You might have one mode because a number appears the most often, or you might have more than one mode. That means that there are several numbers that appear more frequently and they occur the same number of times. So we're going to take a look at each one of these. So example C, D, and F will have us look at each type that I just mentioned. So for step 1, I think it's a good idea that we arrange the values in order from least to greatest. That's going to help us identify if there's repeated numbers in a set. That would be the mode. And we want to determine then what value occurs most often if there is a number that occurs most often. So the first thing is to put the numbers in order. And for example C, I do have the numbers in order now. And it looks to me like we have 3 values that are the same, which is 21. So 21 would be the mode for example C because it occurs the most often in this set. Let's go ahead and do example D. First of all, we want to put the numbers in order to identify if there are repeated values. It looks like to me the number 12 occurs twice and the number 15 occurs twice in example D. So this time we have 2 modes and they are going to be 12 and 15 because they occur at the same frequency. So they both appear twice. If there was a number that appeared 3 times, then neither one of those would be considered modes. It would be the number that appears 3 times. But because they both appear twice, they're both considered modes for this set. Let's go ahead and take a look at example F. If we look here, we have 5 numbers, but none of them repeat. So in this case, there is no mode because they all occur at the same frequency. They all appear just one time. So that's what we mean when there is no mode. All of them are unique. And finally, to wrap this video up, I would like you to spend some time working on problem 1 and 2 here at the bottom of your page. And from what you've learned in this video, you should be able to find the range. Remember, we're subtracting the biggest number and the smallest number, the mean, which is the average, the median, which is the middle number, and the mode, which is the number that appears most often if there's one that appears most often. So there could be, no mode at all. All right, so please try those 2 problems and you will be getting a stamp for completed notes when you appear in class tomorrow. Thanks a lot.